5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Louisiana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, since 2008, approximately 3,300 regulations have been issued on an annual basis. I'll say that again. Since 2008, approximately 3,300 regulations have been issued on a regular basis, on an annual basis. The cost of compliance with those regulations is estimated to be somewhere around $981 million. And if you add up the cost of compliance of all regulations, it's approximately double that. So according to various studies that are out there, since 2008, perhaps one half, or let me put it this way, since 2008, the cost of complying with federal regulations has doubled. Mr. Chairman, this isn't about some huge mega corporation that's worth billions of dollars and is a multinational company. This impacts individuals. This impacts families. And as a matter of fact, a study done by the Competitive Enterprise Institute estimates that approximately $15,000 per year is how much the average American family spends just to comply with federal regulations. Now, major regulations are regulations that are estimated to cost in excess of $100 million. Under our amendment, what we do is we simply require that every 5 years, the federal agency that has promulgated, that has finalized a regulation, that they go back and check how much it's actually costing to comply with the regulation. Here's why it's important, Mr. Chairman. If you go back to a regulation that was proposed by the Department of Interior within the last year and a half having to do with well control in offshore energy production, the Department of Interior estimated that the cost of complying with that regulation was going to be approximately $883 million over 10 years. However, a private analysis that was done estimated that that figure was approximately 1/10 of the true cost of compliance over the first decade. 1/10. There's nothing that holds the federal agencies accountable. They can lowball numbers, they can stay below the threshold of a major action and not ever have to be held accountable to the additional analysis that's required for major regulatory actions. And so this simply makes agencies go back on major regulations to re-quantify, reassess the cost of compliance to make sure that their numbers are accurate, that they understand the cost of compliance, the impact on the average American family. Now, lastly, Mr. Chairman, I want to say this. I'm from the state of Louisiana. A study that was done by the Mercatus Center found that the state of Louisiana is the most federally regulated state in the United States. As a matter of fact, so regulated that we are regulated 74% more than the average state. 74% more. That has a significant impact on jobs, on our economy. The co-sponsor of this amendment, the gentleman from Texas that I work very closely with, Mr. Chairman, his state of Texas is burdened by an additional 30% of regulations above the national average. It's inappropriate, it penalizes our economy, it sends jobs overseas, and most importantly, it penalizes American families. Mr. Chairman, I want to, in summary, say this. This is an Article 1 issue. This ensures that when an agency tells Congress, they tell the American public that that the regulation is going to cost a certain amount to comply with, that they're held accountable to that. This is about accountability. This is about transparency. My friend from Georgia mentioned that this was, quote, busy work. Mr. Chairman, I want you to think about that for a minute. This applies to major rules that are estimated to cost in excess of $100 million to comply with. And they find it offensive that we ask them to look back one time every 5 years for rules that cost over $100 million on the American families to comply with every single year. I'm offended by that, and I'm sure that millions and millions of American families are offended by that as well. It's all summarized by this, Mr. Chairman. Since 2009, for the first time in recorded history, we have had a net loss in small businesses in the United States. Regulations are hidden taxes that impact our businesses, that impact our employment opportunities, and drive jobs to other countries. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.